Hey, what up everybody? This is Jay Brown, Weekend Hooker. I'm gonna do a real quick review of my 2024 GMC AT4 with the 6.6 liter V8 and Allison branded transmission. Like I said, I've got just over 32,000 miles on it. I've had zero issues with it from a maintenance standpoint. The engine and transmission was serviced at 2,000 miles and then 5,000 miles. Every 5,000 miles thereafter, I run Pennzoil Platinum, Premium, Dexos 3, blah, 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 10W30 oil as recommended, but it is the GM approved Dexos 3 certified. So, consumes no oil whatsoever. I had the transmission fully serviced at 20,000 miles preventatively, right? Preventative maintenance. I've had no issues with the transmission. As far as the truck itself, drivability, it is still my favorite thing to drive. It's not nimble, but it is fun. So coming from a Ram 2500 Cummins diesel and having multiple other trucks, diesels and V8 powered trucks, it is not a speed demon by any means, but at the same time, it is also a very comfortable truck to drive, and it's I would say fun truck to drive. The 10-speed transmission is excellent in it, and I've had no issues with that. Have replaced the tires on it. These are the Falcon Wild Peak AT4Ws. They are in a 295/65 R20. Have plenty of clearance on the upper control arms. You can go full lock. I've had the truck off-road. Never heard it rub. No issues. Been down here, just show you. It is a 3500. It is not a 2500. Nothing's leaking. Nothing on the engine transmission. No vibration. No squeaks. No rattles. Really enjoy the truck. So its primary duty now is a 38-foot fifth wheel, 16,000 pounds. It's not here at the house, and then the Skeeter. This is a ZXR20 Skeeter, 250 show boat, I believe, sitting on the trailer somewhere around the 3,000 pound mark with batteries and fuel and everything else. You're probably sitting around 3,500 to 3,800 pounds. So what I can tell you is that boat behind my buddy's 1500 Chevrolet with the Duramax, little baby inline 6 Duramax, is night and day difference. You can never have too much truck. Don't care what you say. Okay, so a few things that I really love about the truck. The mirrors, absolutely love them. You can adjust up here. They go out. They fold. Really do like that. I do like walk-up entry. If you have never had this on a truck, you should really think about getting this. So one push of the button with the key, close. All the doors unlock. This come with the power running boards. Was never a big fan of power running boards before this truck, and now I probably will never have a truck that doesn't have them. I like the look of it, sleek without, and I like the fact that they come down lower than typically your standard running board would end up somewhere a little bit higher. Anyway, all right, so in the back of the truck, I don't want to hear any comments, any yap about the truck being dirty. This truck is actually used for hunting and fishing and travel ball, so it's going to stay dirty. The package that I have on the truck, and I'll show you the Maroni here in just a little bit, but comes with the power package. I do like the space back here, so it's comparable to the Ram 1500 cab. It's a little bit smaller, I would say, than the F250, but it's definitely bigger than the Ram 2500. Seats, I would say the seats are just a little less comfortable. I'm still, if you've watched my other videos, I'm still in the boat of the Ram cloth seats are probably the most comfortable seats that I've ever had in a truck. So not a lot of storage here. The Ram had the under seat or the under floor mat storage here, which was kind of gimmicky, but used every now and then. But the Ram had a much better storage solution back here. It came all the way out, the footprint of the seat, and it was a little bit deeper. Gave you much better storage. So, you know, I like that. I do like that this is more of a flat floor here versus the Ram had the bigger tunnel here. So I can throw an air mattress back here and take a nap, running up and down the road, back and forth to Florida, whatever I'm doing. Overall, the interior of the truck is holding up really well. I didn't have any issues with my previous, like I say, Ram 2500 on the interior holding up, but it's pretty good. The stereo system on this is the Bose. It is just okay. If you're a stereo nerd, you're gonna wanna rip that out and replace it with something else. The truck does have the dual glove box. As you can see, that doesn't get a whole lot of use. Really what that gets is if we run through a drive-through and get some napkins, those napkins go in and stay in there for future snotty noses, and whatever. Overall interior of the truck, really nice. Plush, as some would say. But I would give the seats probably a 7 out of 10 for just initial comfort, but on long road trips, I would almost give them a 10 out of 10. They're actually crazy supportive, and while initial feel isn't as great as most would like, the overall on the road long feel is nice. So we'll watch those go up. I'm going to lock her real quick. 2 presses of the button, you'll hear the horn beep. So initially, I thought that these were gimmicks. And when I bought the truck, I really didn't like how it looked with them. I did like the, you know, it matches the black and everything, so it's kind of hid in there. But I'll tell you, putting back in the boat in the water, when that thing's hooked up, back in the boat in the water, being able to step, obviously on the driver's side, but being able to step here, get in the bed, and then come down across the tailgate and in when you're in a steep ramp and the boat's really deep in the water. It's fantastic. So, sliding rear glass, don't hardly ever use it just because of the wind buffeting. But what I will say is these lights here, when you turn these on at night, you hit the button to turn those on and those little beams come on. You can also turn the light on the front, which is what I call camping mode, and I believe GM may call it camping mode, but you can turn these on and it shines that light out here. So if you're doing some work or whatever at setting up camp, you can have that, but really these bad boys right here are ridiculously bright, and they really do light up the boat and everything at night in the RV. But these right here really just flood the bed with some serious light. So the steps, everybody, this is fantastic, right? GM integrates it into the bumper. You don't have to have the little kick down and it kicks back up, whatever, going off-road, getting hung up on things. And we do go off-road with this truck. So being able to put your foot here and then taking your hand and putting it right here, they have designed this to where it's at the perfect angle here to where you just put your hand in. I mean, it's so simple that kudos to the engineers for that. Why haven't we done that many years past? But anyway, I digress. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, I use the truck for towing the boat and RV, and I've got a big hitch here. Well, I also have kids who like to push buttons and play with things, and they would come up and they would press both of these buttons, and then this top section would fold down, and I would catch it. Thankfully, it's an assisted lower. You'd have to catch it before it got destroyed on the hitch, and this thing right here weighs 45 pounds. I ain't taking it out unless I absolutely have to. And I don't really use this unless it's deer season, and I'm folding this thing down to pull a harvested animal up into the bed, which is fantastic at, by the way. What you'll see is if I push this top button, see that light flash? That means it's in safe mode. And to put it in safe mode, if you have the key in your hand and you press these, both of these, for about a 30-second duration, you're gonna see the lights flash and it's going to lock it into safe mode. So now, whenever I come up to it, I can push this and it's not gonna do anything, or I can push this and my tailgate's gonna come down. So, the multi-function tailgate has the step. Well, I guess it's just a step. You can get speakers in here. I don't know why you would do that, because to me, that's just super gimmicky. But anyway, this, when the top section folds down and this isn't in the way, is fantastic for the step. And then getting back up into the bed with the hand assist, I'm not gonna open it up, but it's also just ridiculously simple yet effective. Truck has a fifth wheel package. Like I said, I got a 38-foot fifth wheel, 16,000 gross vehicle weight rating, and this truck tows it almost as good as the Cummins diesel. Now, I live Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm on flat grounds. Head out to the coast, and this is all you need, okay? You don't need a diesel-powered truck. I've had 15 of them, so I'm coming from experience to tell you that you don't need a diesel-powered truck unless you are running up down the road quite often, or if you are in the mountains, higher elevations, then you do need a diesel truck. Why? Because that boosted application helps you in those high altitudes where you have the lower density of oxygen. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna lock the truck. I'm gonna crank it real quick for you. So it is not stock in the sense of the exhaust. All I did was replace the muffler with a Borla Attack muffler. It's a high performance muffler designed for large cubic inch, i.e. big V8 engines. Let me show you this nice little welcome to your AT4. Dun dun dun. All right, I'm gonna push the brake, engage all the dingers, let all this come up. So when you buy your truck, you personalize it in a couple different ways, and you get a security code that if I want my phone to connect to this interface, I can put my PIN in and go from there. It'll ask you what profile do you want to go, blah 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 blah. It kind of locks you down, right? I mean, it really says, hey, I want to know who you are. Okay, so I could go to Weekend Hooker and I'd have to put my PIN in. I can go to guest, and if I go to guest, it's going to go through this, to me, painfully slow loading process, and really I'm the only one that drives a truck. And so when it does this, I don't know, to me it's just kind of a slow process, but I'm impatient. So I'm gonna exit out of here. I'm gonna open up this sunroof, give it a little bit of light. Yeah, I have the sun shield in here just simply because, well, it's pretty daggone warm in North Carolina right now. I'm gonna go into manual mode here and turn the fan down a little bit. I do have the cooled seats on. You probably just heard, right, that decrease. Let me turn them on. You'll hear them ramp up here in a second. They're not instant, right? They slowly ramp up. They're on a variable speed, which is obviously your 3 dials here. Variable speed means it can go to a lower speed, a lower speed, a lower speed, or off, right? So absolutely love the cooled seats. I'm gonna go to 1 just so I can sit out here and not sweat profusely with everybody. So let me just go to the music here. You can see the speed of how this thing, it's not super fast. Anyone who is like me and has a lack of patience for things, when I get in here and I sign into my own interface, it's fine. But if somebody else drives a truck, it gets kind of slow. That's probably one of my biggest dislikes of the truck, is just that the interaction with this from a speed wise. Now, other than that, I mean, it's fantastic. Android Auto works really, really well. Don't have any issues with that. And you know, it is what it is. So one thing that I want to cover here is a lot of people, I'm going to go to reverse real quick. First, I want to go to reverse and just give you the camera quality. It's excellent. We just bought another vehicle with a 2025 vehicle that has nothing compared to this, right? And now I'm going to go to drive. So a lot of people complain about this being in the way, right? Now I get it, it's in the way, but ladies and gentlemen, now it's not. And now your transmission down here is in low gear 1, right? You're going to see it right here, okay? I can go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And guess what? You have a normal functioning transmission right now It'll go all the way through the 10 gears, and you're fine. One thing I will say, if you live in cold climates, every single morning, like my house is sitting down in the bottom, and so I drive up a hill, right? But I typically pull straight down in. As you can see, I'm facing the house. Don't mind the clutter. And so what I'll do is I reverse out, and then I pull it all the way down in low, and I'll put it in to first, leave it in first gear. And the reason I do that is because for the first 100 yards that I'm driving, I want the transmission to fully feel not only the torque converter, but all the passageways. I think a lot of people are seeing transmission shifts a little harsh. It's because really the transmission isn't fully pressurized, isn't full. And so when it goes into second gear, based off of RPM, right, when it says, hey, I'm supposed to be in second gear, it doesn't have the hydraulic fluid to help be a suspension for that gear shift, right? But if you do this and you run it for just 100 yards, maybe not even that, really, it's probably about 60 yards, and then I just hit the up button. When I make my left turn, I go boop, second gear, and then it's kind of fun, right? Cold, she's cold, you know, I don't know, engines just feel a little bit different whenever you're doing that. And anyway, then I run up through the gears. I take it up to about 7th, and I keep it in 7th gear until the engine and transmission warms up. Transmission typically runs about 145 degrees. Once it gets up to around 90 to 100 in cold temperatures, right, not 95 degree outside temperatures, you know, then it's fine. Then you just take it, put it, boom, you're in drive. Okay, you're cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in park before I send it and end up in the garage. Otherwise, I mean, you know, the interface here is what it is. You can see that for my trip on this oil change, I'm averaging 11 miles per gallon. That's towing the boat. Average mile per hour is 34.5, so towing 4,000 pounds roughly. 4,000 pounds on the back roads, you know, it's fine. I don't have any complaints about it. And I really don't have any complaints because the exact same boat behind the Cummins diesel was 12.5, 13 miles per gallon, plus DEF, plus the higher cost of maintenance and just all that. So this truck really shines, folks, whenever you put something behind it. The 10-speed transmission, it truly is fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. I love the 8 HP behind the 6.4 and the Ram. But the 6-speed that they had just wasn't doing it. So the 10-speed here, it really is nice. I'm gonna open this up. General jargon, yeah, you can see some pew there. Got some stuff, pews in the house. It's okay. I mean, the storage is not as good as my Ram 2500, but it's pretty good. This plug right here, this blade has been off from the factory from day one. You got to kind of manipulate, but you got plenty of power outlets. The wireless charger works fantastic. Look at that turkey call right there, folks. Yeah, I didn't kill one this year. It's okay. Other priorities. Trailer brake controller. Depress it. That pops up on the screen. Right, pretty cool. Works excellent. I actually had that replaced on a recall too. So, oh, what else is there? So this has the auto transfer case. I got 4 high, 4 low, 2 high. It's pretty cool. This mode right here, if you twist this dial, you can go into different drive modes. So it's off-road mode and normal mode, basically on the road. I would say in off-road mode, if you're going to go in 4 low, you need to go into off-road mode because it changes the throttle mapping just a little bit, and it's not so, it doesn't hold that first gear quite so long. Outside of that, heated steering wheel, great. Forward collision assist, and probably a little too sensitive. I have had the truck hit the brake when there's nothing there, going down a hill, like you go down a steep hill and then you start to come back up, and all of a sudden it senses the road in front of you. It thinks there's a massive wall and it wants to brake. That scares the bejesus out of you when you're stroking it down the highway at 70 miles an hour. And then the people behind you are like, well, why the hell is this guy slamming on his brakes? So, hey, GM, you got to fix that, right? And Honda fix it too, because brand new car does the same thing. So it may just be a collision assist thing. All right. So we have a power rear sliding mirror. We have the sunroof, which goes back into the shell itself here. So whenever you push the slide button, it slides back into its own cavity. It doesn't go up on the roof, it slides into its own cavity. Then you have the little bug deflector to catch the gnats and the wasps and the bumblebees so they don't end up, does a fantastic job. Push this button one time, that's gonna close. And then of course you have your rear power sliding. I'm actually gonna look at it through the glass here. No, I'm gonna turn it around. It's kind of gritty. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, what I would say is if you need a truck and you need something to truly tow, I honestly would look at a 2500. And if you're gonna go gas because of the payload, the plus of getting additional payload capacity and towing capacity on the gas V8s, especially when you look at the GMC and Chevrolets, you know, this truck has some significant capabilities for what the truck is. So my Ram 2500 had 1,800 pounds, 1,870 of payload. Okay. Well, the cool thing about GM is they put this nice little sticker down here on the door, and it's nice because you can see when your truck was manufactured. I bought this truck in November of 2023. It's a 2024 truck. You can see gross vehicle weight rating, 11,550 pounds. You can see your front and your rear, right? But when you look at your max payload capacity, this thing has 3,833 pounds. Can y'all see that? Let me get in here. There you go. 3,833 pounds, right? That's pretty impressive. But what's really impressive is when you look down here and you see the max tongue weight, but then you see your gooseneck. I can tow 18,300 pounds taken into consideration. This right here, I couldn't do that with the Ram 2500 on coil springs and the diesel. I've got almost twice as much payload. And then my towing weight here is 3,300 pounds greater on a gooseneck. Well, I mean, do the math on on a gooseneck, and I can't put a 15,000, 16,000 pound gooseneck on this bad boy. So anyway, love the truck. I'm a gasser now, probably for life. Like I say, live down on the east coast of North Carolina, just east of Raleigh, and pretty much do all of my gumming around from Raleigh east down to the Florida Keys. And you know, all highway folks, the reality is this truck, if you keep it around 65 mile an hour, it's got a 36 gallon fuel tank. 36 gallon fuel, right? When that sucker gets on the light, you can put about 33 gallons ish, 32 gallons, 33 gallons in it. I typically see on the highway 65 to 70, around 15 and a half to 16. If I keep it around 60, 62, which is amazing because this thing jumps up close to 17 and a half, 18 miles per gallon on the highway, heading to Florida, heading to Florida Keys, right? Heading down to the coast. If I'm here in North Carolina and rolling down the road, then I'm sitting somewhere around 18 miles per gallon. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Love the truck. Not going to get rid of it. More to come. Peace out.